the King of the Ring finals. So we had Gunther versus Orton. And so, what were your expectations going into the match? I think one of the main things before I hand off to you is that one of the commentators said this was a dream match. No, it's not. Orton versus Gunther was not a dream match. I have not seen anybody say that Gunther versus Orton was a dream match until they laid the bracket out and you saw that that was a possibility. Then people started to think about, like, oh, we could get Orton versus Gunther. Up until then, dream matches for Gunther happened to be Brock Lesnar. And who else did people want to see him fight?
Ilya?
Yeah, Ilya, maybe Roman Reigns. Nobody on this earth wanted to see him fight Randy Orton. Not saying that it was once you saw it played, it was one of those things that you didn't think about. Nobody considers a possibility. But once it was put out and presented to us, it was like, okay, yeah, this is actually really cool. That I would like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not a dream match. Let's get that straight. Back to you, Josh.
I got you. Yeah, I don't necessarily say it was a dream match either. My expectation for the match, though, I think I threaded that this match was going to be what we thought Jaden versus Nia was going to be. that's what I threaded, like how good it was going to be, basically. Jade versus Nia.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I said this match was going to be what we thought that match was going to be. So overall, though, I was kind of disappointed in the match. What do you mean how?
What are the similarities between the expectation that you had for Jade?
Because it was two big superstars going at it, basically.
You're saying the star power and the gravity of the match, not the stylistic comparison.
No.
I was thinking like
no.
Jade and Niall.
No.
What are the similarities here?
Yeah, just the type of stars they are. Like Randy's like looked at as a GOAT, and Gunther's like this new upcoming. So I understand what they was trying to say, dream match, but it wasn't something like, oh, I need to see Randy versus Gunther. But if you present it with that option, you're like, oh, that could be a really good match.
Exactly.
And that's how I was really going into the match. Like, oh, Randy versus Gunther. As we get closer to this match, I'm really looking forward to seeing it because these are two great superstars going at it. So it was interesting. But like I said, I was a little disappointed in the match. Interesting.
What disappointed you?
So check this out. It started off slow, and I was fine with that because they never like faced each other and they was filling each other out. But the match never really picked up how it should have to make the match like compelling for me. I feel the targeting of the back and the knee of the match like slowed it down and like kind of took the momentum out of it from the beginning. To me, I don't think the targeting of the back and the knee was like needed in the match by Gunther because Gunther is already just like. And I think it takes away his like unstoppable force, like, you know, this great opponent, like this is the Goliath type opponent. To me, like, yeah, I just didn't like it. Like, I think it made more sense to somebody like Carmelo to target like the knee in the back of Randy because, you know, he's smaller, but Gunther is like he's around the same sizes, and he's kind of that big superstar type of person. So I just felt like the target of knee kind of limited Gunther and what he could do, and then at the end, the whole roll up was like a sneak type of win. Like, you guys don't think Gunther could beat Randy clean? Like, why?
I didn't think it was a tactic befitting of Gunther.
Yeah, I feel Gunther should have won that. Like, not compel like a domination type of thing,
squash.
But he should have won him via pinfall. And I felt like at the end it was kind of cheap, kind of to make like, yeah, Randy's still that big bad guy, and Gunther is not at that level yet, so he can beat him cleanly in a type of match. But that was really it, though.
I think the match, I knew that you were gonna have a qualm with the pacing of it. I knew that much. That was certainly in a different choice. I didn't think that they were.
I was fine with it though. I was fine because they was slow.
At the beginning, you said you were.
Yeah, I was fine with it because they was filling out for each other, but it never really picked up to the point that I wanted it to.
Right.
Because he kept targeting the knee, targeting the back. You know, it was slower than I wanted it to be. But yeah,
I get it. But the reason I was fine with it is because they not only was it their first encounter, but they had no reason to hate each other. It wasn't like it wasn't like an on-site thing. Like, Josh, when I see you, I'm taking your head off. It was more so like, we both want this thing, and the better man is going to prevail. That's what the story of this was, and it was just two powerhouses in terms of that main level talent. Did you know that prior to this match, Randy Orton had been undefeated since he's returned in singles competition? Randy,
Singles competition.
yeah, he's been booked like an absolute unit, and some people were thinking that Randy was going to win here, but he doesn't need to. There's a way for Randy to get to Cody without winning the King of the Ring. And I think this was certainly the right call if they're trying to establish legitimacy back to the tournament. And Gunther winning is a phenomenal King of the Ring candidate choice. Whatever you want to say. But
so you're okay with like Gunther targeting the back and the knee of Randy throughout the match?
Well, I would say so, because that just, yes, it's advantageous for a smaller heel, like what you were saying earlier. Maybe that's something that Liv could adopt.
I just feel like the targeting should be used by like an opponent that has like less experience than their opponent, or their opponent has like a significant like size advantage, like I said with Carmelo and Randy. But I feel like in this, did Gunther really need to do that? Like, I mean, I understand he has history of back problems and stuff, but
that's why you target the back.
But still, like,
Josh, if you know somebody, if you know he has a history of knee problems or back problems, and you want to win this tournament, the one thing that I will say, well, that's what you target. But the pacing was an interesting choice. I didn't expect for them to keep it in that. The pacing was more so that made the match a technical masterclass. They kept it in that realm. They didn't go to a lot of like the power moves and the dramatic spots. I don't think that Gunther hit a power bomb during that match, and that's part of the staples of his arsenal.
Yep.
That would have made sense because he works the back.
No power bomb, no suplex, no last
maybe
symphony.
Before the match, Randy was like, "Yo, my back, the way my back's set up, I'm not taking that power bomb." But yeah, it was, and then the trifecta of those table drops that Randy does, like the side suplex, he just chucks them. It didn't look as dramatic on Gunther, but it was like they looked like they hurt. Whenever he hits him out with that move, but particularly when he hit Gunther, it was just like he was solid and he hit that table flat, and I just knew that hurt. But in itself, I didn't have a problem with the match. It was a different style of match, and I could see why it disappointed you. But it's just all about your stylistic tastes, and I appreciate it for what it was. I think this was maybe match of the night. It wasn't for everyone. I will concede and say I will agree with you, Josh. It was not for everyone. But just look at some of the dramatic visuals. Like every time Gunther hit him with a chop in the chest, he was knocking sweat off that man. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see like the color. I mean, that in itself wasn't anything dramatic, but the way that Orton sold the chops in the beginning. At first he was taking it, like it stung, but he kept. I don't know why he kept walking towards him. Like, a man just hit me like that. I'm not walking towards him, but he did. And so he did that, and then finally the one that felled him, it was, man, this is terrible. And then I thought about this from a kayfabe and a real world standpoint. The wrestlers on SmackDown had a disadvantage. They just wrestled the night before. The wrestlers on Raw had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to recover. From a storyline and a real life perspective, the wrestlers on SmackDown had a disadvantage. And so, yeah, I thought that was, I mean, I wish they would have played up on that. I don't think the commentators said anything about that, but it makes a lot of sense. And then Randy Orton, the whole thing with the RKO, I don't even know why Randy bothers to do I understand it's like the fan connection and the pounding of the fist on the mat.
I know what you're talking about. There's no point. He never does the RKO when he does that. So
unless he's fighting somebody who's inconsequential.
Yeah, but most of the time, no. When he does that, correct. Okay, this is about to be reversed. Not
even that, Josh.
The RKO only happens when it's out of nowhere. But go on.
Yes, but when he does that, when he does the pounding, when I'm not gonna do it because you can't see me on the camera because my camera's set at eye level, and get my point. But when he does that, what does he do? There's a very specific thing that he does. He turns and he drops down. And you know what happens when he drops down? His knee hits the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And when his knee hit the canvas, he didn't wince at all. So that was a little bit of that caused me to suspend my sense of belief in the match right there. And well, at least I know Randy's knee isn't hurt. He was just faking it. But when he dropped down squarely on that knee, and he was doing the pound. And so from a wrestling standpoint, it's stupid because your opponent, you're pretty much telling them what you're gonna do to them. And so only an idiot's gonna get caught by that. So thanks, Randy. But then you see, like you said, it only gets hit out of nowhere, which Randy did hit the RKO twice, and I think that was the way they present Gunther. He's a ring general. He has a tremendous amount of ring awareness, and he's just an unstoppable force. He didn't have anybody interfere on his behalf. He knew where he was at. He got hit with the first RKO, roll out the ring. Got hit with another, he kicked at it too. And pretty much when he kicked at it too, that solidified. I knew for a fact that was going to be the king of the ring. And I think that the reason that I like this match so much is it showed his grit. I will say, I will agree with you a little bit, that finish with that roll up, even though he did hit Randy in the knee and then do the crucifix roll up. Because Randy was on top of him, like Gunther like pushed his knee or hit his knee or something.
No, I know he hit his knee, but just because he hit the knee, that was supposed to get you a 3 count because
the finish was the only thing I had a problem with. Gunther didn't hit him with a power bomb or even because he's won matches with a clothesline before. He didn't do anything like that. It was just a crucifix pin.
Yeah,
that's the one negative thing I will say about that match.
But people were also talking about Randy's shoulder not being actually down too, and I don't think that was necessarily done on purpose. But but that doesn't mean they're not going to play off of that somehow. I mean, maybe they'll somehow do a rematch, but I don't think the winner is going to change up this match at all. As far as like, if they do it again, Randy's going to win instead. But I don't think that's the thing. Yeah, so that's why I was just like, what are they going to do about the pinfall? Because people talking about that, like, are they going to do something else?
Past it. Like it was a very competitive match. They're going to say that, but they're not going to run it back. And they're on 2 different brands. They aren't going to see each other until the depending on what they do in Survivor Series or next year's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing Randy Orton get another title shot and tying John Cena either, by the way. But
that would actually irritate me.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because I like John Cena more than Randy Orton.
Really?
Which is crazy. It's like I like Randy Orton as a wrestler better than John Cena, but
I guess you like Ric Flair as the GOAT, huh?
No, I wanted John Cena to break his record. Just because John Cena, he carried the industry for the from the mid 2000s, like the Ruthless Aggression era, 2005 through like 2015. So yeah, a decade plus. He was the franchise player, and he became a household name. He took the industry to the next level. He grabbed the baton that was passed off from Hulk Hogan, that was passed to Stone Cold Steve Austin, the same baton that was possessed by Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Ultimate Warrior, Stone Cold, The Rock. John Cena was the very next one prior to it being Roman Reigns and now Cody Rhodes. It's the same direct lineage. He was a franchise player. What he meant to the company. I've always seen Randy Orton. Randy Orton was never the face of the company, ever. He's a damn good wrestler. Everybody recognizes him as being a locker room leader now and one of the elite when it comes to his in-ring work. But he was never the face of the company. I don't think you can argue that.